So we are going to right click, create empty, and we are going to call this UI manager. And under this, we are going to create an empty. Just right click on the object, and if you want to create something as a child of something. Otherwise, you can just drag and drop it onto something selected, drag it onto the manager, and then it will be a child of that object. So, and this is this object we will rename main menu, or not really main menu. It's more of a main UI. Now, under this, we are going to right click UI, and we're going to create a canvas. Now, for this, you can go to scene view if you want. I personally prefer working in game view for the first few steps of this. And under canvas, we are going to create UI panel. And this is going to create this panel for us, and we can scale it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to anchor it to the left middle. This is going to allow us to scale it from the left of our screen, as you can see here. Now, what I am going to do is, if you click on the panel, you can see here's an image, and that is really useful. However, I'm going to create my own one. As with all my other projects so far, I'm going to use Pascal. Now, the one difference between using a normal image and using a PNG is a PNG has an alpha value. Now, an alpha value is essentially transparency. So this is what the actual image looks like, but as you turn down the alpha, it looks like this. So I'm going to use that to my advantage to create something really cool. I'm just going to make the whole thing white. There we go. And now I'm going to add a black border, but this time something a little bit different. Okay, so I have no idea how this is actually going to look. I might come back to this and change it a bit. So I'm going to export it again, right to my project folder. I'm going to name it panel. Okay, so now we have access to this panel. So I'm just going to drag this panel image onto the background. And as you can see, it doesn't really look nice. What we need to do is the sprite mode, set it to single. And then in the sprite editor, you will see these green lines. Now, these green lines can be set to any place. Now, because I did mine the way I did, I'm going to put it there. So what this essentially does is, let's take the left side as an example. Everything to the left of the green line will not be stretched, while everything to the right of the green line will be stretched to fill in all the other, to fill in the place, the open space. So if I click apply, close that, and now we see it doesn't really look all that good. So if I go back to 100 pixels per unit, it looks sharper, but not exactly what I want. So what I am going to do is I'm going to go back to Pascal and just remove this single white pixel in the inner corners, just to make everything look a little bit nicer. Export this again. And in the sprite editor, everything should be fine. Okay, so now this panel, we can scale it left and right, and I'm just gonna oh yeah, position X should be 0, and with the width you scale it. So I'm just gonna put it right there. And scale down the width. I'm going to put the width right about there and just position it right about there. That looks about nice. And yeah, so the last thing that we are going to do in this video is we are going to create the UI manager script. And I'm going to explain why we're doing that now, and I will explain what we are going to use it for. So if you click on UI Manager, add component, and just type in UI Manager, new script, create an add. We are going to do nothing with the script at the moment, but this script is going to be really useful in the later stages of this project. And I'm going to explain that now. Just make sure to save all the changes on your project. And I will be explaining this using the most creative tool ever known to man, known as Paint. Now I'm going to explain this concept using an example of a manager delegating tasks to other managers that handle specific tasks. So let's create a main manager right here, and then different types of sub managers. What's going to happen is this manager says do something, and whenever this manager says something needs to be done, all of these managers that needs to listen to this are going to do their own separate things. Let's say this is your main manager, and the guy on the left here, let me actually use the text tool, is your marketing manager. So whenever the main manager says, listen, we need new marketing, the marketing manager is going to respond and do what needs to be done. However, when the main manager says, listen, we need new cars, this manager is going to do nothing because that has nothing to do with him. The same is going to happen in our game or in this project. Is we're going to have a game manager that's going to tell a UI manager, that's going to tell the UI manager or the AI manager or the sound manager or all the different type of managers to do something. This way you can change the code in any of these managers without having to change the code within the main manager. And in this project, we are going to use events to handle that. I will explain events once we get to that stage in the project. Okay, and with that said, we are at the end of our video. I will explain this in depth in another video once we create the game manager and how we're going to handle different events within the game and stuff like that. And with that, I'm going to end the video. Please leave any questions or suggestions in the comments and have a nice day.